This is Sway.
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 In the morning.
In the morning.
In the morning.
Shake your body.
Wake your fuck ass up. That crust out your eyes.
That was an excerpt from Mr. Selfridge. And we have him right here. Harry Gordon Selfridge is sitting next to us. The one and only Jeremy Piven is here, ladies. Hey. Man, good to see you, Jeremy.
Good to be back.
You know, first and foremost, congratulations. You just got picked up for a third season, correct?
Yes, I have a job. It's exciting.
There it is.
I can pay my bills.
There it is.
Blood loss, a shock.
You know, it's interesting. I remember when you first, took on this series and you came by the show. You've been here. You're a family member now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I'm talking to my cousin, Jeremy.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, I love it. It's good to be with family.
Well, at that time, we hadn't watched it a lot, and I will be honest about that. And I've had a chance to check out a lot of the episodes. I'm into timepieces. I'm a history buff. And I just love the way you guys interpret, like London, back in the early 1900s, and season 2 was after the First World War, and what was going on in those times, and just seeing how everyday people. This is based on a true story. Keep in mind, right?
It is. Harry Selfridge was a guy from the Midwest, and he basically started Marshall Fields in Chicago. He was a Chicago guy, and instead of competing against Marshall Fields, he said, "You know what? I'm going to go over to London. I'm going to do my thing over there." And at the turn of the century, shopping didn't exist. Mm-hmm. So he basically had to invent shopping and then the department store, and did it at a time when people thought he was insane. So, yeah, it really happened. He was a real dude. And when they told me about it, I just finished Entourage at 8 seasons, and I thought, this is so completely different to what I was doing. I have to jump in. Because, listen, you can rail against the world if they typecast you, or you can solve the problem yourself and mix it up and flip the script, as the kids say.
Flip the script.
Yes.
You flipped the script.
Yes, sir, I did.
I really like you in it, man, because I don't see Ari when I watch it. You know what I mean?
Good. I don't feel him. I needed to sage that gentleman off me.
Absolutely.
Because I think, not to get too ethereal or kumbaya on you, but I think when we work on our lowest level as human beings, we get reactive, we get angry. Someone says something and then we just get crazy. And that's the way Ari operated. Now, don't get me wrong, it was fun to play and it was fun to watch.
Yeah.
But after 8 years, I needed to change it up. And I'm also acting with the best folks in the world. These British actors are just crushing it every day, and they raise my game so that each episode to me gets better and better. I was watching it last night, and it's interesting because for me, I can watch it and learn and figure out ways to get better. But I feel like this season we really hit our stride. Listen, it's on free TV, man.
Yeah,
you don't even have to pay for it.
You don't even have to pay for it. What episode were you watching? Like, I saw the finale.
Last night I was watching the one that aired here in New York, which is episode 2, season 2.
Season 2?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, am I getting ahead? What's the episode I was watching where the kid Temple, I can't think of his first name, the painter painted? What season?
Yeah. Oh, that's the first season.
That's the first season.
Yeah, it's the first season.
Yep.
And the second season starts 5 years on, with the backdrop being the Great War. And it's funny because you don't have to love period dramas to dig this show. It's like, right now we're at a time where we can hide behind texting each other, email, whatever, and we don't have to go face to face. And we can escape.
Yeah.
And I think this is a way of like looking at a simpler time when people, if you wanted to speak to someone, you had to go and see them face to face, which is the way I believe the way things should be. I think that's why people are loving Downton Abbey and now our show. And our show really is the city and Downton is the country. So they're country.
Speaking of it, you shoot there as well?
We shoot there in England, and all those exteriors are real. They exist. There's such brilliant architecture and history there that we just go on the street and open it up.
I asked because I was wondering if it rubbed up on you. Tracy G has a fake accent. Like whenever someone from a different world comes around, she uses her fake accent.
Right.
Has it rubbed off on you at all?
Because my character is American, I stay in that and because I'm from the Midwest, because I'm from Chicago, it's funny, when I met them, I did my Chicago accent, which is hardcore Chicago accent. It's not a pretty accent.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, cars and bars a couple, 2-3 times. My friend Mike was there. Dude, it was hardcore. You're kind of like, and they literally heard my accent and went, please don't ever do that again. They're like, is that Irish? and they think about it, because accents all came from somewhere. So the Chicago accent came from, there's such an Irish community in Chicago that's like a homogenized version of the Irish accent. So to their ear, that sounded like me doing a bad Irish accent. So they wouldn't allow me to do the Chicago. Yeah, she's got a good ear. That's why she does it. You
know what? Speaking of bad accents, why don't you ask him your next question in an accent? Go ahead.
In an accent.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Jeremy, I was thinking about you because you had mentioned Entourage, and that's when I first fell in love with your character, Ari.
Nice.
And you spoke about how you enjoyed playing him, but it became a little bit monotonous, and you wanted to move on.
See, that's what they call a posh British accent.
Posh?
Posh spice.
Yeah.
Damn.
Posh.
I'm not authentic. Sure.
Yeah.
But going back to Entourage, you guys are doing the movie, right?
I wrapped a couple nights ago.
Damn, y'all wrapped the movie already?
We wrapped it. Yeah, we finished it.
But
We
wait
just
a
finished.
minute.
I finished it, jumped on a plane and came here to see you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
But does that mean, because initially when you were saying, as much as you love playing Ari, it was still like, all right, I need a little bit of detachment just to go into the film a bit more and television. Did you really want to do the movie the first time it came to you?
Well, you have to understand, by the time the movie came around, I had finished 2 seasons of Mr. Selfridge, done a few movies, had moved on, and Doug Ellen, who created the series, wrote the film, and it was a great chance to ride again. And it's one of, I come from a theater family. I grew up acting, so the idea of turning down really good work is like, would be sacrilegious. So it's really hard to walk away, and to me it's the best version of Entourage, because you get to hit it as hard as you can,
Right.
For a 2-hour movie, and then get out.
True.
And it's our job to explore and heighten what Entourage was and put it up there in a 2-hour form, almost like Entourage on steroids.
Yeah, like a one-night stand.
So everybody, all the players, Vinny's back, right? Turtle's back.
Drama E, everyone's back, and then the cameos were just, all of a sudden you look up and you've got, Pharrell and Mike Tyson and half of the Seattle Seahawks in your scene. And it's kind of like, it took everything you had to not be distracted. Yeah. Because every day there was a new cameo.
Like, what was one that kind of threw you off? Like, you had to go, whoa, he's in it?
Well, I did a scene with Liam Neeson. And I just, and what's so great is these guys show up and they play a bad version of themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't tell you what happened, but all I know is I pulled up next to him and I try to kind of smooth things over, because we obviously had some history. That's the way we built it in. And he tells me to kind of F off.
Wow.
And as himself. And he's an intimidating gentleman, from Taken.
Yeah.
So that was a blast.
What's the storyline about? Like, Vinny gets a new job? I mean, what's the plot of it?
If I told you, it would not end well for me. Just because we spent a lot of time and energy and money on this film, so I can't really.
Oh, you don't want to blow it?
I don't know if I want to blow it. I mean,
okay.
But I will say that for anyone that followed the show. We're true to all the characters. I think it's going to be really satisfying. We pick up not too long after we left off, where my character takes his wife to Italy, and then he has a serious conundrum where they say, he gets this offer he can't refuse, or we'll see if he does refuse. His wife is like, look, work means too much to you. You've left, you all your energy is going towards work. You have nothing left for the family.
Yeah.
And then he finally puts it all on the line and says, I'll drop everything and my job for you. And then at that moment, he says, he gets a call and they say, do you want to literally run Hollywood? And so we pick him up, after that decision he's been kind of meditating on it, and then what would Ari do, which actually would be a good T-shirt. Yeah, well. But and so we pick him up there.
Get on that, Wonder. Get on that.
Please, somebody make money off that. It's not going to be me.
Okay.
And so we pick him up once that idea, how that manifests in him, and he's he's going a bit crazy because, as you can imagine, Ari Gold away from the action.
Yeah.
You know, it's really tough for him to lay low in a small Italian town.
Wow. Jeremy Piven is here, man. I know you guys got a lot of questions. Plus, we're going to play a new game. It's called
Knowledge of Self.
All right, Shade 4-5. That's up next. Knowledge of Self.
That sounds deep.
It's deep. Very deep. That's Saigon right there. It's called Believe It. Saigon, former star on Entourage.
Yeah.
Is Saigon getting a cameo in the movie?
You know what's funny is Saigon was on the set the other day. It was good to see him.
Yeah?
It was good to see him, man. Yeah, because, I mean, he was on the show before he even had anything that dropped.
Yeah. Well, he had some underground stuff, but that show definitely helped catapult his visibility.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of that on the show.
I feel like, Jeremy, I thought you could have talked up for me. I don't know, Heather B. You think I could have got a cameo?
I feel like somebody could have did radio or something, came by to see
You know
the
what?
show.
You know what? We did a radio thing, but it was all local. You know what I mean?
Big Boy?
Yeah, we did Big Boy.
Big Boy, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my friend.
Yeah.
That's good. If you're going to do somebody, do a legend. Big Boy is fine.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Big Boy, Big Boy!
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about the Entourage movie, but now it says Mr. Selfridge or the Selfridges?
Mr. Selfridge.
Mr. Selfridge.
Because his store is Selfridge's, and the store's been around for 100 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the dude that kind of came up with the catchphrase, the customer's always right, customer comes first, and he wanted to treat people like guests when they come into his store, and they had never had anything like that in the UK. So he blew up the whole thing.
It's on PBS.
It's on PBS, and
Sunday nights at 9
Sunday
p.m.
nights
Eastern.
at 9 o'clock, yeah, and it's free, and it's supported by the people, which means that they don't have any money to advertise. That's what it means, and so that's why you see me on Twitter and on Instagram. How You Living J Piven is my Instagram handle.
How You Living J Piven.
There you go.
DB had an interesting question for you. He's a big fan of yours too, by the way.
Yeah, the season finale ended with your wife, Rose, confiding that she was actually dying.
Yeah.
And so it kind of ended on a sad note.
Yeah.
But one thing I like about you as an actor is your ability to cry and make it look believable as opposed to, just making the face.
Yeah.
What do you think about at that moment to get the tears going?
The writing usually is so good that it's your job to put you in that situation and just to try to be as present as possible. But it's like you have to use the kitchen sink. If that's why they have terms like method, like, oh, this person's method. If whatever the given circumstances don't get you there, you have to use whatever it takes to get you there. And then maybe it's an experience that you had, I mean, we've all been through some stuff. So you just have to go back to that place or whatever. But it's interesting because sometimes it's just, I have a certain set list that, there's certain songs, certain artists that can just trigger it. You hear them and you go to that place.
Like
I'm
who?
sure. Well, it depends. I mean, actually, I don't know if this is your guys' demographic, but like Ben Harper, the artist.
Ben Harper, yeah. Women told me I look like him.
You do have a Ben Harper vibe. He is Ben is at this point covered in tattoos.
Oh no, I don't have one. So, but I have tattoo-friendly skin.
There you go.
There it is.
Right.
Ben
What
Harper.
does that mean?
But what does that mean? A tat would look good on me.
Okay.
That means he's not so blue-black that you can't see anything.
There's some Ben Harper right here. Check that. Bringing me to tears right now. I get it, Jeremy.
I like this. That sounds really good. I'm about to put that on Spotify. Jeremy, so whenever a guest comes, I always make sure that I do my research so I don't look crazy or anything. So I was looking up info on you. I know you were born July 25th.
July 26th. You're almost there.
Almost wrong. Damn, one wrong.
That's still an A-minus. That's still an A-minus.
You're right there.
And you were born in Manhattan.
Yes.
Okay, born in Manhattan. Yeah. And I know you got a Golden Globe and 3 consecutive Emmys.
Wow.
For Entourage.
It's like I paid her to say this.
No, right?
I know.
That's what she does.
Publicist. But one of the things that I found when I was researching, I was very surprised because it popped up on TMZ.
Yeah.
But since you were here, I was like, let me see if we can get it cleared up. They said something about a woman that you're dating named Sophie, and how it came out that she had a secret husband that she had beaten, and there's like a felony assault on her.
Yeah.
Is there any truth behind that?
Well, I actually was born a woman, and I'm an extraterrestrial. And there's a lot of things that I want to say right now. Yeah. I am also a tripod. I have 3 legs. One of them is stemming from my power source.
Ooh.
Yeah. I am 116 years old, and that technically makes me a vampire.
Wow.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, God, I mean, one time, I'll never forget, I took my mom to dinner, and afterwards, they said that the paper, I think it was like page 6 or something, said that I was yelling at my mother so badly that the entire restaurant got up and left, and that I've been banned from the restaurant for life.
Wow.
So my mom read it, called me and said, "What did I miss?" Because she thought maybe when she went to the bathroom, because literally my mom, she's so cute. She's she's from another generation, and she feels like, there was a lot of integrity with journalism, and that if you read, if it was in print, it had to be true.
Right.
And I said, "Mom, you were there the whole time." So it was a great moment to bond with my mother and let her know, when you see stuff like this, a lot of times it's not rooted in any sort of truth.
Absolutely.
It's funny. I called the dude that owns the restaurant, and I was a regular there, and I said, "Listen, why don't you ring up the paper and tell him, that this isn't true." And so he rang him up. And he said, "I run the place, and Jeremy's a valued customer here." And he and his mother were on their best behavior that night. Everything was cool. And they said, "Look, it was reliable sources." And he goes, "I run the restaurant."
What's more reliable than that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, it's the kind of thing where, to be honest with you, all these things are kind of tests, and you can either kind of like, even though know it's not reality, you can let it make you crazy, but that's not really the way to go. You can kind of see it for what it is and realize, okay, well, that's not reality. It doesn't really have anything to do with me. So I'm just going to kind of go about my business and not let it affect me. Sure. That's really the only way to do it. And then at a certain point, it'll all just fade away.
That's not true then. None of that stuff they printed was
true. No. Secret husband, what did you say? Secret?
What was it?
Secret husband that she beat.
That she beat.
Yes, and he's claiming that she was neglecting him and their daughter to be with you.
What's the woman's name?
Sophie.
You don't know her?
Turner.
You know what? It's funny because I don't know where these things come from, but it's here's the deal. If we called up and we said Jeremy was in here, he was high on crack cocaine.
Yeah.
He headbutted 11 people.
12
people. I mean, it would be everywhere. I mean, people have to sell papers, and they all have their jobs to do.
Okay. Well, look, let's switch to the truth. We got a game called Knowledge of Self.
Okay.
We want to play it with you. You'll be the first person we ever played this game with, Jeremy Piven.
It's a lot of pressure, man.
I know, right? So make it work. Otherwise, somebody's getting fired. It's not knowledge of self. All right, Jeremy Piven, this is how it works. Our very own DB is going to ask you questions that pertain to you and your legacy and your history, and we're going to see if you have knowledge of self.
All right. First up, what line is this from? You got the mochaccino face, wonderful skin, and big broad shoulders.
Rush Hour 2?
Yeah. There it is. All right. Okay.
Damn, he got it.
That was easy.
Oh, man, let me go again, Brett. Hold on. I need some... Damn, I forgot the line. What's the line, Brett?
That was my entire morning with Chris Tucker.
Okay, Chris Tucker.
I need something black silk, something 42 long. Oh, damn, what's the line?
Oh, when y'all shot the movie, that was Chris?
At dawn. Oh, my God. That was in the Versace store. And so we're there shooting the scene with Jackie Chan and Chris. And all of a sudden, the first AD walks by me and goes, "I'm done, man. I'm done. I'm walking." I go, "Are you all right, man? What happened?" I was like, "The first AD is quitting? What's happening?" I look over, and Mike Tyson is just shopping, like on our set.
He was like, "No, man." He goes, "I know Versace."
And because they were like, "Excuse me, Mike, we're trying to shoot here. We're filming a scene." He didn't care. He just wanted to shop. He didn't. But then he looked up and he saw Chris and he saw Jackie, and he was a huge fan. And then it was just pictures for about an hour and 15 minutes.
People were scared. All right, here's question number 2.
Second line. It's the Macan guy, and he's with Cookie.
Stumped.
Might have got him. He doesn't have knowledge of self.
I don't have knowledge of self. I need to meditate more, apparently.
It's from One Crazy Summer.
One Crazy Summer.
All right, give him another one. Give him another redeem itself.
What is this clip from?
Well, he's got blood loss and shock. I'm going to give you quarter-grain vials of morphine for the pain, okay?
That is Heat?
Yep, Dr. Bob.
Wow.
Okay.
We got 2 out of 3.
And we got one more clip.
One more.
Oh
It's
my God, it's like
for
a
the
nightmare.
prize. The prize is you'll be able to just
Be myself.
Yeah, there it is. All right.
Wow.
It was huge, man. It was huge. Help me! Help me! Help me! Help me!
One Crazy Summer.
Your very first movie.
Lucas.
Yep.
There it is,
Oh
man.
my God.
Jeremy Piven.
Wow.
Halfway knows himself.
I have.
You got a lot of soul searching to do, brother.
I really.
A lot of
Well,
soul
you know what the
searching.
good news about that is?
Yeah.
Is that I'm curious about the world and other people as opposed to being self-consumed. So I think the people that
That's
win
good.
this game may be a little too self-consumed.
That's a good point. Good
So
point right
that's,
there.
this game is deep if you
There
think
it is.
about
Not
it.
a narcissist.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, I like that. Jeremy, don't forget, you guys, Mr. Selfridge, Sundays, PBS, 9 p.m. Make sure you support that the next season as well. It's a really great series. It's interesting. It's a lot of great series out there that keep you hooked. It's one of those things, once you start watching it, you got to finish it.
There you go. That's the one thing that I've heard from people. It's is that it is kind of addicting, which is, listen, we're all looking for that next show. I don't know about you guys, but after Breaking Bad, I was kind of like, what's next?
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty hard on myself, but I can sit there and watch these shows and listen, I was there and made them, and I'm still wondering what's going to happen next.
That is Jeremy Piven. Look for that
Thank you,
Entourage.
guys.
Man, bro, thank you for coming through as always, man.
It's Sway in the morning, only on Shade 45.